tech difficulties. We're not broadcasting to anyone.
Interesting. Okay, well, I've just hit the button again. It's showing me that we've been live for the last 7 minutes, and it's sending out data to everyone. So I don't know if it's now going to change for anyone. Let's have a quick nose, see what's going on here.
We're here now.
Okay.
That's an interesting one.
Oh, it's going to be an evening of technical issues, I tell you. It's going to make it all good fun, Giles. So
Andrew Smith saying, hello, Monty. So a very good evening to everyone. If you're just seeing us here, welcome along to what is the second round of Formula Student Sim Racing 2022-23. I don't know how much of my intro to repeat. I don't know who's been able to see what exactly, but we are racing in Dubai with track temperatures, virtual 53 degrees Celsius. A vast majority of the drivers are running with their Joker, all to play for following the first inaugural round of the championship this year in December. So all eyes on track. Ones to watch, Bolton, having taken first place in both races in December last year. Glasgow, their first time in the Sim Racing Series, coming great guns onto the track in December. So can they convert that aggression, that passion, that great drive into actual points? They had a number of upsets during the competition, during the races last year. So all eyes on racing now. James, how much do you want to recap?
oh gosh, I've got all the data if you want to see it, Giles, because shall we start off with what the standings are looking like just now after the first race? Because I do have some swish new data which I want to show and share with the world now that we're definitely live.
I'd love to see it.
Right, fantastic. 2 seconds, let's head on over. So guys, here are what the standings are looking like after the first round is completed. So, currently, Bolton are leading from Wolverhampton, and then the Basque Country or Vitoria are rounding up the top 3. As Giles was mentioning, Bolton dominated the first rounds with 2 wins. Wolverhampton, also impressed with them. This is their first time into the contest this year. They put in a lot of preparation, and again this weekend, Giles, between their 2 drivers, 400 laps of practice. So I think they're going to be another one to watch as well, because them and Glasgow, ferocious pace. I want to see if they can take it to Southampton, Bolton, Salford, basically the big names from last year, to see if they can do battle with them. 46 universities.
400 laps of practice.
400 laps of practice. Honestly, I do question if they actually sleep, but
Well, I was going to say, they're supposed to be students studying for a degree. This is supposed to be a bit of a hobby. Where are they finding time for 400 laps?
You'll be amazed what students can do when it comes to having to try and find time. This is exactly how they get to blag extended deadlines. Well, it was for me back in my day, but I don't know if it's the case now. 46 universities, though, are taking part in this contest this year, though, Giles.
46 universities, all to play for then. If you're just joining us, welcome to the second round of Formula Student Sim Racing 2022-2023. I'm Giles Cosgrove. Joining me in the virtual commentary box is James Monty Montgomery, the man with all the facts and figures. We're going racing in Dubai tonight. 2 races. 4 races, in fact, really, because you're going to be watching 2. But what we do actually have is an upper tier and a lower tier. So, in fact, you've got 4 races going on tonight, but you're watching the cream of the crop live here on YouTube. So make sure to like and subscribe. You can leave us a comment. Someone called Alex suggesting I was hiding behind my microphone. Trust me, it's better off that way. Coming up tonight then, we've got 2 races here in Dubai. Track temperatures a virtual 53 degrees, which could be interesting in terms of just everything. Hot temperature out on track, so instant grip for those tyres, but will they go away because that pace is there and the drivers will think, well, great, I've got grip, let's go for it, and then all of a sudden, once they've gone for it, they've wasted their tyres and they're falling down the back of the grid. That's something that could happen. It's all to play for, it's all to come. This is going to be great tonight.
Yep, no, I'm really looking forward to this one. There's a lot of tactics going on with this, Giles. As I was mentioning earlier as well, though probably wasn't heard in the wider world by the sounds of things, 14 teams are using their jokers tonight. So that means they're going to be running with a car 5% lighter than all the other competitors. That's going to be a factor. Quite a number are on their soft compound tyres. So yes, they're going to be, in theory, quicker, but with such temperatures, I think those on the medium and the hards, they're going to come strong in the second half of the race because these are 25-minute races, so there's a lot to consider. A lot can potentially go wrong, and well, when there's students involved, it regularly does go wrong, doesn't it, Giles?
I mean, from our personal experience, when you and I are involved, everything seems to go wrong. Behind the scenes, we've had some technical difficulties, but we are intending to bring you some of the best pixel-to-pixel action you can get on the internet. I say pixel-to-pixel, it's not quite wheel-to-wheel, is it? But hey, we make things work. I mean, Tron, eat your heart out. Tonight we'll be racing with F4 cars, essentially, which is very exciting indeed. They are Tatuus FAO1, so they've got an A-Bath 1.4 litre turbo with 160 brake horsepower, weighing in at 555 kilograms, constructed first in the year 2014.
That's a while back, but hey, I've got some good news for you, Giles, and those who are online, you're probably beginning to hear the sounds of motor racing now. That's me disconnected to the online server, so shall we go and see what's happening out there, Giles?
If you can bring me some pictures, I would love to talk about them.
With pleasure. Right, okay, so for those who are all live at the moment, you are now probably getting the pictures coming through on Giles's screen. You will hopefully be seeing the same pictures as our audience are in about 5 seconds time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hopefully that's coming through for you now.
I can see a car in the pit lane. Is that about right?
Beautiful, yes. So we've got one of the cars in the pit lane. We're just going to move and see what our colleagues are doing. So there we are. We're following Southampton at the moment. So this is just the 5-minute warm-up, guys. We've got about... then the grid will set itself up, and then we'll be good to race. Top tier server we're looking at tonight, guys. So as I say, we have 46 teams running in a split server format. We're looking at those who qualified the fastest 20 to qualify in qualifying 1. This happened about an hour ago. We're going to watch them race, and then after the 25-lap race is done, we're going to move on to race 2. Some of the names that you're seeing on screen just now may not return for the second race because there's 2 drivers in each university taking part tonight. And depending where they have qualified for their respective race will determine whether they'll be in the top tier server or bottom tier server. So for example, we're looking at Southampton at the moment. This is their driver A who is lapping around. They've managed to qualify for the top tier server. Their teammate, if they've only qualified 25th, well, this is going to be the only time we'd see Southampton tonight because they'll be in the bottom tier server for race 2, which means someone else, another university, will be taking their place for that one. Hope that made sense. I feel like I'm talking a lot, Giles.
Not a problem at all. I'm here and I'm excited to go racing for you for the first time in 2023. It's great to be back. Hope you're excited because I certainly am. Apparently Caroline's also very excited, so shout out to her. People asking about UGR last year, University of Glasgow Racing, and what happened there, because you and I are both very excited about Glasgow, but they didn't necessarily place particularly well in the last event. So, would you care to remind us all what happened there?
In a nutshell, raw pace, but couldn't keep it on the track. Sometimes it was their own doing, sometimes it was because of other people being a missile and using them as their target. It was very unfortunate, and I think Glasgow have learnt the very hard way what this race series is like, Giles. Undoubted raw pace, and because they stuck the car on pole. But being fastest doesn't work in this series, and those who took part in the series last year, they've got that year of experience, and they know it's a 25-minute race. They know the race can't be won on the first lap, and having spoken to the Glasgow guys afterwards, they're coming in with a very, very different approach for this race weekend. They know the pace is there. They just need to know how to read the track around them and, crucially, get through lap 1 as well without falling to the back of the field. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do this evening, Giles, because there's undoubted raw pace there. We've been watching most of the drivers lap in the 1:35, 1:36. Glasgow turned up on Thursday or Friday to the practice server to go and do their times. Here, hold my beer was basically what they said as they went and stuck in some mid-134s and kind of upped the ante for everyone else to follow.
Well, here we go then. We've got a few minutes left of the open practice prior to going racing here in Dubai, or as close as we can get to Dubai. I certainly can't afford a flight, but this is going to be great stuff. We're on board now with what looks to me to be University of Salford, and as I've been saying, these are essentially Formula 4 cars. So you might be looking at them and thinking, that looks like Formula 1. Not quite. They're all made by an Italian company, an Italian chassis manufacturer called Tatuus or Tautus. I don't know, I'm afraid to say. I'm belligerently English and I can't pronounce anything foreign, so I do apologise. But these engines have a 1.4 litre turbo provided by Abarth, producing 160 brake horsepower, weighing in at 555 kilos with a driver, give or take. A lot of the drivers running on the softs and a lot of the drivers running with their Joker, making sure these cars are as light as possible. So we're going to get some great racing today, fingers crossed. This looks to me to be the lineup then, Monty. What do you reckon? Is that what we've got for the lineup in this race?
I am trying to pull it off. These are definitely the 20 drivers that are going to be racing. We'll have to wait a second for the grid to sort itself out, basically. And then we'll see who's going to be on pole. I've got a feeling it's going to be Glasgow on pole again, based on what I'm looking at on the Discord chat at the moment. Unfortunately, I'm not privy to that information just now, so I'm just trying to pull off the information elsewhere to see what's going on here. Beg your pardon, apparently we should be watching Hull. Is this... No, I'm looking at qualifying
James seems to have disappeared.
Here.
I hope you can
yes,
still
so we
hear
should be
me.
seeing Glasgow Khan on pole. We should see Bolton on second.
These things are sent to challenge us. I should say, if anyone's watching
USM in third.
Cardiff,
wow, we're in for some fun stuff here, Giles. It's going to be Battle of Glasgow then tonight.
We're lining up now
Hull
on the grid then.
Southampton fifth.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Monty.
University of Stavanger in sixth. Cambridge 7th,
Are you there? I can't hear you.
UWTSD in 8th, Salford 9th, and Kingston in 10th. We're just waiting for the countdown. We're waiting for the lights to appear so we can go racing. Heads up on Salford. This is going to be the only time we're going to see them on the stream tonight. Unfortunately, they're a one-driver entry, which means for the second race, they're going to have to start at the back of the grid in the bottom tier server as their penalty.
Anyone, here we are. If anyone can hear me, do let me know on the stream. But in pole, as predicted by James, we've got UGR, University of Glasgow Racing.
There we are, NCME, that will be Bolton in second. Our current championship leaders, may I add, Giles. So it'll be interesting to see. Do we think they're going to extend their lead after tonight's round? Do we think we're going to have a new leader?
I think it's all to play for at this point. I reckon if Glasgow can hold it together, keep themselves on the track and maintain the pace that we saw in December, I think we could have a new championship leader. Having said that, Bolton know what they're doing. They've proven it time and again. They've got the pace, but they've also got the technical know-how to keep themselves on the track, read the track, and keep it clean. So this could be very exciting indeed. We're on board with car number 3, that's USM. USM are...
Strathclyde.
Who, please?
Strathclyde, I believe.
University of Strathclyde. Brilliant.
There we are. The lights are coming on, Giles. Let's go for the external shot and let's go racing. Over to you, sir.
Here we go then. For the second time this season, we've got 5 lights. We're in Dubai. The lights are off. Away they go. And the clean start on the front row for the drivers here tonight. Into turn 1, it's going to be a sweeping right-hander. We're doing the international circuit here in Dubai, looking pretty clean, pretty tidy so far. Cars beginning to bunch up as we head towards turn 1. And already, catastrophe, a car spinning away there.
That's Strathclyde, straight from third down to last, Giles.
Absolute tragedy from third straight down there. No good there. Bolton down to second. Muir, meanwhile, we got in first Glasgow. We've got Strathclyde in second as they qualified. So all to play for here.
Okay, just having a quick check there. Don't know what's going on with the timing board there, but Muir is Hull. That's the University of Hull there, Giles. So we've got Glasgow from Hull, Bolton third, Southampton fourth, and Stavanger in fifth.
Muir is... So say that again?
Muir is Hull. It's their driver's name. They've got such a long name that's taken over the whole timing board, I'm afraid. And just as I say that, Hull have now spun. What's going on there? They've spun off. Oh, what a messy lap for everyone here.
Utter calamity in the first lap in Dubai. Cars jumping up into positions we weren't expecting to find them in, and then immediately straight back down again. Your leaders at the moment, University of Glasgow Racing. Southampton are up into second. Ion in third. And then Trinity St David clawed their way up into third. Salford down in sixth. Where on earth, then, has Bolton gone? Well, that is a good question. And right now I'm looking at the leaderboard.
They're down in 14th.
They've gone down to 14th. What has happened there? Calamity for all the drivers in the first lap.
I suspect they probably had a coming together with Hull at the beginning there, and that's why the two of them have dropped down. So they've got it all to do. Thankfully, there's still 23 minutes to go, so we'll see what happens. That's someone forgetting to brake for the corner there. Nicely done. Yep, 23 minutes still to go in this race. It's a long, long race, so it's not over yet. Not over yet for Bolton.
Not over yet for Bolton, indeed. Already up from 14th into 13th. They've got it all to make up, but we've seen it done time and again in this competition. Remember, UGR spent plenty of time with the back markers. Up to 12th for Bolton there then. Plenty of overtaking going on overhead. Diving through the traffic, down the inside. Are Bolton going to make a move on this traffic ahead? Not quite, going slightly wide there. This is really exciting stuff. Looking around, looking for the inside. There we go. Looking for the apex, kissing the apex. This is some great moves. Up into 11th for Bolton, but it could well be up to 10th in a minute with this traffic ahead. The rear mirrors of the Bolton car filled with the competition. Taking a dive down the inside. This is brilliant. Two cars at once.
Wow.
Look at this. Fantastic stuff from Bolton. Can they hold it? Yes, they can. Look at that.
Bam.
Amazing from Bolton. Up into 9th position. This is why these are ones to watch. Bolton doing amazingly from 14th into 9th in one lap. Look at that.
Fantastic, fantastic. Golden brown with a side of butter. That was served beautifully by Bolton there, and that's them already back up to 9th position by the end of the second lap. This is going to be a fun recovery drive to watch.
Oh, this is fantastic. We're going to stay with Bolton, I hope, unless other things are happening elsewhere. But right now, the ultimate recovery drive is underway for the University of Bolton. We're in Dubai. F4 cars on track. These guys were up in the front row, up in the front of the race when the lights went out, and then all of a sudden we lost them, or at least I lost them on the running order, and they were down in 14th. They've just made up the positions, and they're clawing towards FSIP now. FSIP being who, please, Monty?
FS, sorry, I was too busy looking. There was a contact here between Stavanger and Cambridge. It looks like that they're back up to 4th. FSIP is a very good question. I've lost all my data set at the moment. I'm just going to try and pull it back if we can. I don't know if we got any of the other FS team on the live stream at the moment. If so, would one of you be able to just throw in my Discord channel for me, please, the entry list team names against what the acronyms are, because my brain has gone completely mush at the moment. But enough about me, back to the racing.
Back to the racing indeed, on board with what I believe is Salford versus Stavanger for the position of 5th place.
That is correct, yes. I'm
getting very tight there, very close. Stavanger looking for a way round Salford, not quite finding it. We're up into what I think is lap 3 or 4, and this is just brilliant racing all round from everyone involved. Not much drama in the way. The first lap, that's a given, but everything seems to have cooled down, tidied up now. And we're on board with Stavanger, looking for a way round, trying to get back into 5th place as Salford lead them. Meanwhile, Bolton have moved up into 8th already.
Yep.
So this is great. This all beginning to come together. This battle for 5th could well hold up the traffic. That means UWR can move up as well, close the gap there. Bolton closing the gap. This could get messy very, very soon. You can see the cars beginning to queue up now, and this is where things get difficult. A little bit of smoke.
Contact.
Oh,
right.
dearie me.
Oh dear.
Not quite. Just about held it, I think, from what I can see. But there's a car.
They've held on to it, but it looks like they had contact with UWR in that. So that's Wolverhampton down. That's another one spinning in the background. That looks like UWTSD falling down now. And oh dear, here we go. And more contact. Oh gosh, here we go. Come on, steady on, guys. 18 minutes still to go.
as I predicted, the car's all bunched up and everything's going off now. We're on board with UWR. As it looks to me like UPR are going to come right past them.
Around the outside.
Brilliant move there.
There.
Oh, I thought that was going to stick, but maybe it didn't.
No, looks like Wolverhampton just about held on to there, though. Fair play to Portsmouth, though. Just as I say that, they've gone and spun off and they've gone down the back of the field. Right, there we are. Apparently we're making donuts now. There they go. They've recovered and they continue in 17th position. Never mind, back to the front of the field, Giles. It looks like Bolton, out of all of that calamity, are up to 5th.
Marvellous stuff. A brilliant recovery drive from the University of Bolton. Coming after Stavanger now, the University of Salford in 3rd place there. You've got, of course, Southampton in 2nd. And then, as we were predicting earlier on, University of Glasgow are in pole position. The leaders of this race, making it look absolutely effortless. The gap between them and the next car is nearly a whole 3 seconds. That is how dominant Glasgow are right now. So we were talking last race about the policy regarding back markers and the front runners coming together when, you know, lapping occurs. I was under the impression that the back markers were going to get out of the way, but I was wrong. And James pointed out that they were under the impression they were racing no matter who was trying to overtake them. I believe that therefore means that in this case, when Glasgow come to the back markers, they're going to have to try and fight to get around them. They're not just going to get out of the way, which means they'll be held up, and then we'll get a whole load more racing because the back markers will hold up the front markers. They'll all come together, and it's all going to be mad.
Popcorn at the ready, ladies and gentlemen. We're not done yet. That's only 9 minutes into the race. We still have 16 minutes left to go on this. Giles, you'll be pleased to know if you look at your Discord channel very, very quickly, I've managed to snag a copy of the entry list. So now we can begin to convert who these acronyms, what their actual universities are, and give them the rightful attention that they richly deserve. Obviously, we know who Glasgow are because they're just in a league of their own at the moment with Mr. Khan, who I believe is an esports racer from what I've heard, so it should be of no surprise, I guess, to anyone that he's off in the lead. It should be noted that the students here, guys, the talent really does vary because this is for the universities, it's for the students to develop. So we've got all sorts of backgrounds in here. We've got engineering students in here, we've got some people who don't even hold a driver's license, all the way through to people who do actual motorsports events, karting, single-seaters, as well as esports professionals here. So it really is a mixed bag of talent here. But it's great to see them all on the field together in this virtual world on the server. Well, apart from with Glasgow, who are just driving away. For everyone else, doing battle. And it has to be said, the first 4 are kind of in a league of their own. But from 5th onwards, here's where the fun really begins. And I'm going to be keeping an eye on Kingston now because they're beginning to pull back. Look at this. They're sliding, they're spinning. Ooh, and look,
and they're all right.
They're on the soft tyre, guys. So here we are. We're now beginning to hit the point where those on the softer compounds are starting to struggle. Kingston, they managed to make the jump at the beginning, but now they're going to see... now they're going to struggle, I suspect. And I'm intrigued to see what will happen with Glasgow because I think they'll be on tyre management as well. They're on a medium compound. Southampton are on the hard. So let's see how the second half of this race develops.
Yes, a 4-second gap between Glasgow and Southampton. Could that close down as Southampton's tyres hold on whilst Glasgow's go away? Good question. Salford, meanwhile, 5 seconds themselves or so behind Southampton. And then the gaps following those cars afterwards, it's all very close together. So 1st and 2nd are way out in front. And then from 3rd onwards, it's all to play for. Bolton coming back. I'm trying to see the times there. It's about a half a second, about a second's gap between Bolton and Stavanger. Brave racing, meanwhile, between Cambridge and who is that against Cambridge? That's FSIP.
So I found out, so they are the Polytechnic of Leiria.
Polytechnic of Leiria, wow.
So this is good racing from both of the drivers at the moment. They're both the same tyres. Alex Wilkinson, Cambridge's driver. Here we are. We're going for the inside, up into the 6th position, into the heavy banking area now. Is Leiria going to be able to get back? They're having a try.
They're having a try indeed, but Cambridge are making it stick, taking a wide line to make sure they get the inside on the exit there. I think Cambridge have managed to hold off the Polytechnic of Lyria just about, but the slipstream that Lyria must be getting from Cambridge right now means that Cambridge are not out of the dark as they head down the start-finish straight towards that sweeping right-hander, that first corner here in Dubai. We're on board with the Polytechnic of Lyria. Can they close down one of the most iconic universities in the world is the question. I don't think so this time. But you know full well from the racing we've seen between these two, Polytechnic of Lyria will be determined to close down Cambridge. So it's all to play for here. The gap about a second as I have it here. Looking nice and tidy from Lyria, keeping everything crisp and clean. A good line. No major offs. That gap, though, I think that gap is widening. Oh, I say that. Just about. This could be really exciting. One mistake from Cambridge and Lyria are all over them. Some great racing from Lyria, making sure to keep the challenge on the University of Cambridge. A slightly wide line there, not quite catching the apex, but brilliant stuff nonetheless. Holding that gap just about a second to the car in 6th position. Bolton up ahead in 5th. This is the battle for 6th. You're on board with the Polytechnic of Lyria. Through the left-hand bank car they go. But there it is. There's the car in 6th. That's what we were talking about at the moment. That is what Lyria are determined to catch up with. In blue, it's Cambridge. In white, it's Lyria.
I'll tell you what, Giles, after just looking at that, so from their battling Cambridge and Lyria in the last lap, so they lost 2 seconds to this person. This is the University of Obuda in Hungary. That's allowed them to come in because, look, they're just a second behind Lyria as well now. So it's not over yet for any of these three. And one small error, and it will just pull them all back in together quite nicely.
And this is what I was saying, is the fact that when you have two cars duking it out for one position, it lets the cars behind them catch up, and then all of a sudden you can have stuff going on where, in the case of Bolton, you can overtake multiple cars at once, and that is some great driving. So OUR on your screens there, that is the Uni of Obuda. We'll try it. If I fail, do let me know in the comments. But right now, on board with the Uni of Obuda in 8th. We've been watching the battle between Polytechnic of Lyria and Kingston as Lyria chase down, Cambridge, as they chase down the University of Cambridge, and they've allowed Obuda to catch up. And meanwhile, we look further afield, a whole 5-second gap between our leader, University of Glasgow Racing, and the car in second place, Southampton. So we were thinking earlier, were the tyres going to drop off on the Glasgow car? Would that allow Southampton on a harder compound to catch up? At the moment, it's not looking like it. 5 seconds to break down between the second place car and the leaders. There's 10 minutes to go, so it could well happen. But with Khan behind the wheel, who, as James was saying, is an e-racer, I don't think, unless a major mistake gets made. But then again, you've got to remember, we are coming up to, I'm sure, some lapping occurring at some point.
Well, I'm just having a look.
Could
so
that slow down Glasgow?
20th position is 1 minute and 8 seconds behind the leaders at the moment. So lap time around here is about 1 minute 35, 1:36. So we're probably about 30 seconds away. But, I mean, if something else was to happen to car number 14, University of Leon, then, yeah, potentially we could see some traffic, but... yeah, it's going to have to take some stupidity from the drivers to make that happen now, I think. We're kind of getting into a good groove by the looks of things, all the drivers.
Indeed, we are. The average lap time about 1:35, 1:36, but then Glasgow came along during practice earlier this week and knocked out 1:34, leaving jaws all over the floor. Meanwhile, we are racing for an 8th position here as Hull have overtaken what looks to be Uni of Obuda.
Yep.
So therefore, we've got a new car in 8th. Polytechnic of Lyria up ahead. The gap between them about 2 seconds. Cambridge in 6th. On board with Hull right now. They've opened up the gap between them and the Uni of Obuda to about a half a second. So they've made that move stick proper. Through the bank corner, sweeping left there. Nicely done from the University of Hull.
Oh, here we go. A little bit of a battle behind here. We've got Uwe. So this is University of West England. Oh, there we are. Contact with Wolverhampton. They survive. They're still going into the last corner side by side. Gonna bang more wheels, or you gotta behave now, guys. Oh, here we go. Side by side, and there's a spinner right in front of them. What's going on?
Absolute madness, and the University of Wolverhampton have managed, goodness gracious, 3 abreast.
Oh, this isn't going to end well. Come on, careful, guys. You've still got 8 minutes left to go. 3 aside. Who's going to win this one?
Someone's got to break somewhere. Very well done from all involved.
Nice.
To not have an absolute coming together. University of Wolverhampton managing to maintain position as Uwe and Sheffield. Is that Sheffield? SHU?
Yes, that's Sheffield's Hallam joining the fun now with all of that. So all that squabbling, fair play to them all. They kept it nice and clean. They kept it all on the road, but it has allowed Sheffield's Hallam to join in now, and this two-way battle for 9th has become a 4-way. Beautiful.
You want to watch what you say there, Monty, but we are live from Dubai as we've got cars vying all over the tarmac for 9th position, right in the midfield. You've got Wolverhampton, you've got University of Obida, elsewhere. You've also got the University of West of England, and not to mention Sheffield as well. So here we go then, UE down in 11th.
Sheffield's having a shot. Go on.
Looking very good. Right down the inside, on the bank left-hander, sweeping through that chicane. Yes, making it stick. Look at that.
And now joining in the fun, 13th place is Strathclyde after their recovery drive after being punted off on the first lap. They've now joined. Right, 5 cars battling for 9th position now, Giles.
Because of course they are, because this is FS Sim Racing, and what else would you expect? Coming towards the first corner again for what must be the billionth time. We've been here before, we'll do it again. UWR, Wolverhampton there in 9th. There's plenty of traffic behind. I wouldn't want to be the Wolverhampton driver looking in my mirrors right now because it would feel very overwhelming. It's why I'm not driving, because the Wolverhampton driver seems completely unfazed, opening up that gap to about a second between them and the cars behind, all vying for those few points in the midfield then.
Go on, boys. Right, okay, well, that's some good fun going on there. I'm just having a look at the timing boards just to see what else is going on. Predictably, everyone who was on the soft compound tyres, they've fallen away in the second half of this race now. The highest placed soft compound runner is in 12th position. What's going on at the top, though? Bolton and Stavanger seem to be battling it out for 3rd. And Salford are there now. Right, here we go. Battle for the final
Absolutely
podium position.
marvellous.
Who's going to do this?
Oh, I am so here for this. 5 minutes to go. The battle for 3rd. You've got Stavanger, you've got Bolton, and you've got Salford. And Bolton closing in on Stavanger down the start-finish straight, headed towards that first right-hander. Can they make a move? Looking to the inside, looking to the outside. They've gone for the inside. There they go. They've gone dive down, and they've made that look so easy. That is brilliant racing from Bolton. They were back down in 14th after some early race drama, and they have recovered magnificently. Remember, Bolton dominated in the last race of this series back in December. On board there was Stavanger.
That's not over yet, Giles. Not over yet. Yep, they compromised.
Looking to the inside, looking to the outside. That is brilliant stuff. Closing in tightly there. On board with Stavanger, going wide. And it's tight, and there we go. They've got a no.
And Salford spun in the background. Salford spun in the background after with all of that. Cambridge nicked it up into 5th position, but that's Bolton up to 3rd.
That had my heart going. I saw a blue car spinning and I thought it was Bolton. I thought there'd been a coming together, but Bolton have managed to make it stick. They've held on to that 3rd place, but a valiant challenge from Stavanger, and all of a sudden we've got Strathclyde spinning away in the background, and I haven't got a clue what's going on. This is exciting stuff, is it not? It may well be 0s and 1s, but you don't get much better than this unless it's the real thing, but we can't afford that, so we're doing this instead. And we're on board with Stavanger, who are hunting down Bolton, who've managed to recover to a podium position from back down in 14th. So the harder compound seems to have been the one to go for, as Monty's been saying. Those on the softer compound, the highest placing car earlier, as we had it, was 12th. those tyres going away very quickly in the high track temperatures, over 50 degrees on track as simulated. We're in Dubai on the International Autodrome, and it looks to me like Bolton are just opening up that lead on Stavanger, and they're now looking to hunt down Southampton. Can they claw back to second place is the question. I imagine they'll be bringing Stavanger with them because Stavanger will not let go. Meanwhile, we're here with Sheffield battling out with Uwe for 11th position, and not too far behind is, of course, the Strathclyde, who span out as we saw earlier. So there we go then. That's Sheffield closing in on Uwe.
Onto the long straight.
Gap.
Half a second onto the long straight. Finishes with a tight hairpin. Are we going to go for a lunge? We're running out of time.
What are they going to do? Are Sheffield going to make a move? They are going to make a move down the inside through the tight right-hand hairpin. They do not make it. Can they make it stick? Not quite, but Uwe seems to have gone wide there, making the most of the track, grabbing that apex, taking the inside line, and Sheffield have gone. Sheffield have gone. They couldn't cook. They couldn't handle the pressure. They got out of the kitchen. They span off. And that's going to be gussing for the Sheffield driver because that was a good challenge. But Uwe held firm in 11th.
Thankfully, he didn't hit the wall, so he got going again. So he still gets some good points from the position he is. But yes, 14th. 14th is not quite as good as 12th, but nice try, nice try. That was some very good entertaining going on there. Meanwhile, just looking at the back of the field now, just because I appreciate we've not spent too much time near the back here, so a kind hello to our back runners here who are having their nice scrap as well. We have Coventry, we have UCL, and we have the University of Lyon bringing up the back of the field.
Bringing out the back of the field. Commentary making a move on UCL just a minute ago. I'm loving the liveries on some of these cars as well. They're looking great. I spotted the Lego logo earlier. That's a throwback to childhood, is it not? On board then with Commentary, who seem to be running a Desert RAF livery on their car, as far as I can make out. Looking brilliant there. You can see the RAF roundels on the side pods if you take a wide shot of the car there. A minute and a half or just under of racing left. Meanwhile, on board with UPR as they hunt down LASS. We haven't had much to...
Beg your pardon, Giles. I was just going to say this is Lasson's, our Canadian entrance, the Canadian University, joining us from the other side of the Atlantic virtually for this race tonight. And the UPR team. We actually have two UPR entrants tonight, guys. We have Team 12, who's the active students at the University of Portsmouth, and this team here, number 38, these are the alumni teams. They're all technically not students anymore, but because they enjoy the racing, they've come back for more fun this year.
So it's UPR versus the Canadians. Bonjour, Canadians. Hello, and welcome to Formula Student Sim Racing. And that's the most French I can do, and you know it. The only reason I even entertained French was because I could sit in the back reading Tintin comic books. But less about my time at school, more about what's going on track right now. UPR hunting down Lasson to take them for 16th position. We're floating towards the back end of the grid right now. Meanwhile, up front, with a whole 3.5 second lead still, with less than 10 seconds of racing. It's been a dominant drive from Khan, the University of Glasgow Racing. We said earlier, if they could convert that pace, that aggression and that energy that we saw in December into track position, they would be ones to watch. And wouldn't you know it, with a whole 3.5 second lead, they have absolutely dominated here in Dubai.
We'll come back to Glasgow in just a second, Giles. Salford are going for a last-minute lunge on a hole here. I think this is going to be a race to the line as well.
Here we go then. Salford looking really tight through there. Are they going to make it work? I don't know. The stream's finally come alive for me. I can finally see what's going on. It's not lagging, and Salford just about holding on, I think. Cambridge there. Salford, Hull have come out of nowhere. This is just brilliant, and we've got no racing left. It's coming towards the line. Who's going to hold it? Hull in 6th, Salford in 7th.
Oh, we're
Polytechnic of Leiria. Oh my days, this is madness.
We're going to watch this one. We're going to watch this one to the line. Glasgow have passed the line. So Glasgow have won from Southampton, and we've got Bolton coming up for 3rd. But this is the battle we're going to watch to the end of the race. Last corner now, Giles.
Last corner, and it is Hull from Salford from Polytechnic of Leiria. Hull have managed to take it. They've got 6th, Salford in 7th, crossing the line there for the first of 2 races this evening for the Formula Student Sim Racing Series 2022-2023. Congratulations to all the drivers involved. Wheel-to-wheel racing right to the end. Brilliant stuff. I am out of breath and I forgot my water.
Well, thank goodness we have a 10-minute break now, Giles, so we can go and get our refreshment, catch our breath back. In my case, being asthmatic, I'll go and take a puff of my old trusty inhaler. Always comes in use for these type of things. And we'll be back in about 5 to 10 minutes time, guys, for race 2. And we'll do it all over again with the second drivers of the universities. But for the time being, we're just going to go for a quick 90-second break, maybe 2 minutes. Yeah, we're going, let's be generous. 2-minute break, and let's come back and do all the fun again momentarily. See you shortly.
Brilliant. And a very good evening. Welcome back. If you've been watching since the start of the event, and if you've just joined us, hello. It's Giles Cosgrove here with James Montgomery, bringing you live coverage of the Formula Student Sim Racing Series, our second round of the year. We're live from Dubai, where Glasgow have just dominated in the first race in Tier 1. An absolutely dominant drive with a 3.5 second advantage as they crossed the line. Some great racing throughout. I've got to say, driver for me for race 1 had to be Bolton. Incredible drive from Bolton. We've also noticed a lot of the drivers on soft tyres not quite making it to the end. I was looking in the comments on YouTube, and as you can see there, people have been talking about the fact that the tyres went to ice come the end. I don't know how to pronounce that, but he said, I am happy with my P10 from P15. With ballast, though, the tyres were very, very much ice at the end. I don't think the drivers can change their tyre selection, but I think those who are on the softs will be regretting it because track temperature at 53 degrees, you might get instant grip off the line on those softs, but by half race distance, you're slipping and sliding around like you're Torval and Dean. What do you reckon, James?
I could not have put that any better myself, Giles. Just to recap then the last few things on the first race there, just because we are about to get underway with race 2 momentarily. Yes, you'll round up their top 3 guys for the top tiers. And you are German university colleagues who took the honours in the bottom tier server. Second was Team 22, which is the University of South Wales. And in third position there was car number 7, which is Heriot Watt University. That was your top 3 in the bottom tier server. You're currently looking at our faces, guys. I'm going to move us back onto the live stream so you can see live pictures of the server at the moment. We're just finishing the warm-up, setting up the grid for race 2 now. What's going to be happening here, guys? So, as I mentioned before, the cars you saw in race 1 may not necessarily be in race 2. There are 2 qualifying sessions which happen before we do the live stream. There are 2 drivers, in theory, for each team. Wherever they qualify in their respective qualifying session is where they will race in their respective race. So those who did qualifying 1 must do race 1. Those who qualified in qualifying 2 must do the second race. Now, if they qualified 5th in the first race, great, they're in the top tier server. That's for the top fastest 20 cars. However, if their teammate was to only qualify 30th in their qualifying session, where they're going to be doing their second race from the bottom tier server. So, for example, we had Salford in the first race. They're not here for the second race, which means we get to see a couple of new names here instead. I see we have got Team 29 seems to have joined in for this one. OUSR, that is Oxford University Sim Racing. Oh boy, we get to have Cambridge versus Oxford all over again, Giles.
Who needs to go rowing?
Exactly. So that's the grid starting to form up. We're on about a 60-second countdown now until the actual races begin. And it looks like we have Hull on pole for this race, with University of Glasgow in second, UWTSD in third, Cardiff in fourth, Bolton 5th, Southampton 6th, Coventry 7th, Strathclyde in 8th. Let's see if they can make it past turn 1 this time. Wolverhampton in 9th, and Leiria, our Portuguese colleagues, rounding up the top 10. Who do we think's going to win? Put in your stick in the comments on YouTube who you think's going to win. Show some love, show some support. Giles, who's your money on?
I would love my money to be on Mr. Aaron Farmer, starting in 4th for Cardiff here in the second race in the top tier. He's done an absolutely exceptional job today because he was messaging me behind the scenes and his computer crashed and died during qualifying. So he managed to get it working just in time for the tier 2 race that we had at the beginning of today's event. And he's in tier 1 now for the second race, and that is just brilliant. But having said that, Glasgow have been strong all day. We've seen how good Hull are, and of course Trinity St David. They were up there with the best of them back in December. They didn't quite manage it in the race today earlier on, but I reckon they will have learned from that, and they could be bringing their A game. So it's all to play for here in Dubai.
I reckon so as well. Oh, here comes the lights, Giles. We haven't got long to go. 25 minutes of racing coming up again. Like to do the honours, sir?
I would very much like to do it. 1 light, 2 light, 3 light, 4 light, 5 light, 6 lights. We go racing again in Dubai. Lights out and away we go. Hull starting from first, but UGR making a concerted effort to get ahead of them. In third, it is Trinity St David, and bringing up the top 4, it is Aaron Farmer for Cardiff. Hull down into that tight right-hander, and they've got Glasgow all over them, and that is going to be really tight. First lap action immediately out of the track. And the starting grid looks to me to be holding firm towards the front. Cardiff dropping down into 5th, and that is Southampton up into 4th. Aaron Farmer back then, making it up into 4th, battling with Southampton for that 4th position. Hull maintaining their lead from the start. Glasgow in 2nd, Trinity St David in 3rd, and it is Cardiff in 4th, and Southampton in 5th. This is exciting stuff. A bit of a lock-up there as they go around in towards that left-hander. Up they go, round
Oh,
about.
we got contacts in the background. It's Bolton again. Bolton are off again.
Not again. Unbelievable.
Oh.
At the very back of the grid as well.
Oh.
Just managing to get the car into reverse. They are actually starting from 19th, so near enough the back of the grid. Tragedy for Bolton. We know how fast this team is, but they have not had any luck in the Middle East as they go straight down into last position. Car number 20, right at the back of the grid. What has happened to Bolton? Can they recover? We've seen them do it once before this evening. Now all eyes on the Northerners to try and make it happen again as they search for a way past VIT, coming up towards that right-hander on the banking, trying to find pace, trying to recover what should have been a really decent drive, and it's just not happened for these guys.
I mean,
the gap between them are coming down to a half a second. We're down towards the start-finish straight. Through the start-finish straight they go, over the line, heading towards that first corner. Are they going to make a move? Going down the right-hand side, that's what we like to see. Bolton making a move, diving down the inside through the opening right-hander. They've made that stick like glue. Fantastic stuff.
I've got to cut away, Giles. I'm sorry, because I've just watched Giles. Glasgow tumble down the timing order now. So
I don't know why he held
the
it
two
around the
fastest
outside,
cars.
but fuck.
They're down in 18th and 19th.
Keep your head down.
Unbelievable in the
These guys will
second
be like
race
5
of
seconds off the
today's
pace ahead
event,
of you,
and
so
the two cars
just
that we were talking
be
about in
extremely
round
cautious.
1 of today, and it's all gone wrong. Glasgow down in 18th. What happened there? We totally missed it. I'm sure we'll find out later, but University of Glasgow now hunting down Kingston, back down in 18th. The battle for 17th now. Not where Glasgow wanted to be. Hull completely I would say completely dominating, but they're not, because they've got Trinity St David all over their arse with a half a second gap, which is not what Glasgow were dominating with earlier. They had a 3.5 second lead when they won the race earlier, and they're now down in 18th, hunting down Kingston and Cambridge. It's all gone wrong.
Look at this, Giles. UWR, the other big protagonist, they're down in 16th, so something's happened to them as well, and off they go again. This is ridiculous. I was going to... and another crash with Glasgow there. Fantastic. This is ridiculous. I was about to suggest Bolton, our championship leaders, coming into this round. They've squandered it now, and I was going to suggest Glasgow are going to be our new championship leaders leaving this round. They've now just proven me wrong by spinning off. I was then about to suggest Wolverhampton, and they've just gone and done exactly the same thing. It would appear no one wants to be winning the races at the moment.
This is unbelievable. I can't quite believe what I'm seeing. The 0s and 1s are not favouring the hot teams in the hot track temperatures. 53 degrees on track. Those on soft will probably be sitting there feeling a little uncomfortable. We've been racing for 5 minutes now, on board with UWR, making a move past Cambridge down the right as they go through that long straight, headed towards the tight hairpin bend. Can they make this work is the question. The answer on your screens now, yes they can. Fantastic from UWR up into 17th.
Not
past
over
the
yet.
University of Cambridge. But it's not quite over, as James is saying, because Uni of Cambridge is sticking like blue tack to the rear of the UWR car. but UW are opening it up there as far as I can make out, and it looks to me like they are up into 17th quite comfortably.
Yes, well, we'll have to see what kind of recovery drive they can pull off from this one now, Giles. Unfortunately, that wing's looking a little bit bent, so that is definitely going to be compromising their performance, but 20 minutes to go, and a little bit of slideways moment there, so yes, definitely reduced performance and downforce going on there with UWR.
Front down, yeah, that's not good. The front wing all out of balance for the University of Wolverhampton then.
However, after all of this commotion, we've been ignoring the top because look at this. Hull, they're leading. We have UWTSD in second, and then we have Strathclyde in third, the highest runner on soft compounds at the moment, may I add. So it'll be interesting to see what will happen with them. We suspect with a 53-degree track surface temperature, these tyres are going to melt in the second half of the race, and even though they've got the pace advantage at the moment, I expect to see them fall down the order as the race goes on. I hope to be proven wrong, but we will wait and see.
So on your screens now, it is USM of course, Strathclyde. Behind them in fourth position, it's Cardiff Racing. And as we're, a bit of a lock-up there, inviting Cardiff to have a look. Cardiff in red, I believe, on board now with Cardiff as they hunt down Strathclyde. Wales versus Scotland. And it doesn't look... Coventry trying to make a move round the outside, but not quite finding the room. Through the left-hand banking, they go. And it looks to me like this is going to be a real battle for third between all of these drivers as they all begin to bunch up together. Aaron finding the apex there with plenty of rubber all across the track. These soft tyres will start going away. If I was a betting man, which I'm not, I would be putting money on these softs going the way of the Dodo. Down the start-finish straight they go, heading towards that swift right-hander, and it's tight. It is very tight because there it is. Cardiff have got Coventry all over their rear end. Aaron having to try and hang on in there as he tries to make a move on Strathclyde and keep defensive from Coventry. It is a sandwich I wouldn't want to be put in.
I'm definitely sure there's a carry-on moment or comment to be said in one of those remarks there, Giles, but I'm not going to go into it. Cardiff doing a good job holding on to fourth for the time being from Coventry in fifth. Oxford in sixth, so they are definitely winning the battle between them and Cambridge at the moment as their compatriots are down in 19th position. I am noting on the timing board it looks like Wolverhampton and Bolton are having a little bit of a ding-dong, and there goes Cardiff off the track.
No! Aaron going wide there under pressure from Coventry, and he's down into sixth, gutting for the Welsh Dragon in red. Not what we wanted to see there, but meanwhile on board with Polytechnic of Illyria then. They're in eighth. What's happening here? Plenty of action on track throughout the grid. It doesn't matter where you are, it's all happening right here in Dubai, or as close to Dubai as I can get. Polytechnic of Illyria looking then to try and make a move past OUR, the Uni of Obyada. A bit of tyre smoke there from Cardiff, feeling the pressure then from those two cars in 7th and 8th.
Now, this is actually all being started, Giles, I think, from Strathclyde. Their tyres are starting to go off because, look, they're now 7 seconds behind the leader, and we've got a bit of a trolley train beginning to stack up behind them. And these guys are very much involved in it all. As they go side by
this is
side.
What we said earlier. Oh, this is very tight indeed. Coming towards the left. That's Lyria trying to make a move on Obyada. Can they make it stick?
Nice.
Not quite yet.
Nicely done. Lyria have got past around the outside there, but I think Obyada are going to come back. But here comes Southampton now up into 9th position. Are they going to capitalise on this? Let's go on board with them and see it from their point of view.
And that is really tight. Everyone bunching up, the tyre smoke everywhere. Looking to me to be very much a case of absolute precision driving required in this instance, because one mistake and you're going to have tyre and car all over your rear. Not great, but great racing for us, but a very pressurised position for these drivers to be in. You're on board with the Uni of Obyada. In front of them, it is
Southampton in 8th, I believe, and then
Southampton in 8th. In In 7th, it is the Polytechnic of Lyria. Cardiff up to 5th, looking to make a move on Coventry for 4th now. Aaron Farmer behind the wheel of the Red Dragon, going down the inside to the right. He makes his move. Can he make it stick? Bit of wheel spin, bit of tyre squeal. And that looks to me like he's up into 5th. Coventry in 4th then. And he's going down the start-finish straight, carrying that momentum through. There's about a half-second gap there between the two drivers as they head into turn 1, and there's plenty of issue on the left-hand side there because OUSR are not going to give that up anytime soon. And looking to make a move on Commentary then is Cardiff. Not quite in the position to be able to do so, but Coventry are holding everyone up and traffic building behind Cardiff. The pressure on Aaron Farmer to make that move and get away before he makes a mistake himself. Down that really long straight. They've got a real tight right-hander to come at the end of this. I would want to be on the outside, which is the position Cardiff is in. Can they make it work? Oh, plenty of tyre smoke as people break late. Cardiff have made it work. They are up into 4th. Brilliant work from Aaron Farmer.
Here comes Coventry back, though. Here comes Coventry back.
Coventry are taking...
Oh, out of nowhere
Look at
comes
this.
Lyria.
That's
from
ridiculous.
7th to 4th. Wow, how about that?
Unbelievable racing. Absolutely unbelievable. Cardiff had 4th all set, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, it was Polytechnic of Lyria, I think.
Yep.
I can't quite get my head around that.
That's absolutely beautiful. Lyria were just sitting behind, watching Coventry and Cardiff have their little ding-dong, watched the two of them squabble and just went, right, if you two can't make up your minds who's going to be in 4th, I'll take it instead. And look at that, straight up to 4th position now. And will they be able to hold on to this and go after University of Strathclyde?
Well, the gap is half a second between Lyria and Cardiff. Strathclyde up ahead with a gap of about a second and a half. So all to play for then. The traffic, as you've been saying, is building up. There's going to be a huge load of drama very shortly because all of these cars are going to want position and they all want the same position. You can't have two things in one place, so it's going to have to come down to a lot of overtaking very shortly. We've got just under
contact in the background there.
Left.
That looks like Oxford and Obuda.
There we go then. Oxford and Obuda off there. Oxford just about have taken the position of 8th. Obuda down in... No, actually, Oxford down in 9th. Obuda in 8th. On board with Lyria now. They've managed to overtake Cardiff as they go again for 4th. Cardiff coming back down the inside. This is the battle for 4th place. On board with Aaron Farmer for Cardiff. Hunting down Lyria, trying to find a way round. Not quite there on the inside. Not the gap there. Lyria going wide. On board with Ston.
Oh, that was naughty. That looked like a little bit of... I'm hoping that was lag and that wasn't a type of brake test going on there. That was a bit of a random place to slow down, I have to say.
It's getting really tight out here as you've got Southampton coming down after Cardiff. Cardiff after Lyria. Lyria under pressure from Cardiff now for the battle for 4th place. It's a 3-way battle. It could well be a 4-way battle with Coventry coming up as well. Cardiff on the outside. Lyria on the inside. They've got the better line. Cardiff trying to out-drag Lyria and Southampton pressurising all the time. This is great stuff. What have we got then? Cardiff have just about managed to make it stick. Up into 4th position is Aaron Farmer, followed by Lyria and Southampton with Coventry in the rear. Unbelievable racing. Absolutely fantastic stuff. And it really isn't over. Lyria coming back now for Cardiff. The gap is barely half a second as they head towards this right-hand corner. And there they go past the camera. You can see there how close these are. The battle for 4th. Lyria and Cardiff really cotting up then. And then you've got USM in front of them with Strathclyde. It could well be up into a battle for a podium position in a minute as Cardiff are trying desperately to hold on to that position. Lyria all over their rear end like a bad rash, braking hard. Tyre smoke coming, and that's wide for Cardiff. And that's going to be a real opportunity then for Lyria to come through. I think Cardiff have just about managed to hold on to it. Southampton looking like a vulture waiting in the wings for the kill, because in a minute these two are going to have a coming together, and Southampton are going to want to have a bit of it. In fact, Southampton already have a bit of it. They've overtaken Lyria then, and they're up into 5th. Cardiff in 4th.
And off we go!
And there it is. Who was that?
That was Lyria and Southampton. That was them. They did exactly what you were worried about was going to happen, Giles. Exactly that happened between Southampton and Lyria. Down they go. Up to 4th goes Cardiff. 5th, Coventry. Southampton have recovered to 6th. But, yep, here we are. Lyria back on the track now, right behind Obuda, and trying to make up for lost ground now, down in 8th.
Absolutely gutting for those drivers there, because that was a great battle. But the car coming out on top is Cardiff. Cardiff hunting down not Southampton, I do apologise, Strathclyde. You're on board at the moment with Obuda, who's just been passed by Lyra. So in your running order, as we have it at the moment, Hull in pole, Cardiff up to 3rd. Meanwhile, the battle for 3rd, hotting up. Tyre smoke everywhere, late braking, a lot of lost grip, but Cardiff have overtaken Southampton. They've got their first podium position of the season. Can they hold on to it is the question. Aaron Farmer looking for that apex, trying to keep defensive as Southampton pile on the pressure, desperate to claw back that podium they've just lost to the Welsh team. 9 minutes of racing to go, and it is all to play for. Positions changing left, right and centre. Glasgow are battling it out with OUSR back down the grid, trying to make a recovery drive. We're on board right now with the battle for 3rd. Cardiff versus Southampton. Cardiff have managed to make it stick by the looks of things, but there is a heck of a gap between Cardiff and Trinity St David, the other Welsh team on track right now. That's a gap of 11 seconds that they have to make up in 8 minutes. Can they do it? I don't know, because the pressure is still there. If Aaron were to look in his mirrors now, he would see a glimpse of Southampton. A little close for comfort as far as I'm concerned, but he has managed to make that stick. Cardiff up into 3rd in the second race of the second round of Formula Student Sim Racing 2022. There you can see the other Welsh team, Trinity St David. They're in 2nd, a gap of 2 seconds between them and Hull in 1st.
I think as exciting as that race was to watch, Giles, it has to be said, though, all their battling has really made them, lose ground to the first two. They've just been able to drive away with this, manage their pace. And to be fair as well, I would say for the first 20 minutes of that race, just about, allow Strathclyde as well to stay in a position which I honestly thought they would have fallen back much quicker than that. But because everyone behind them were battling so quickly and so aggressively as well, it allowed them to stay in 3rd, allowed them to manage their pace. But as we saw, the second that Cardiff eventually got up into 4th position, they were on the back of Strathclyde within half a lap. And it will now be interesting to see if Strathclyde can keep that 4th position, or if they're now going to start falling. What was the old saying? If their tyres are going to fall off a cliff, and see if they fall down the pecking order as a result.
Interestingly enough, as you've been talking, Monty, the gap between Hull and Trinity St David has dropped to just about 1.5 seconds. So this could be a race to the finish. With 7 minutes to go here in Dubai, can Trinity St David close that gap on Hull to take the win? Meanwhile, University of Glasgow Racing attempting their recovery drive. They're up into 9th, hunting down
OUSR, this looks like it's for Oxford,
University
isn't it? Yes.
Sim Racing. One of the new teams in the second race of the second round. They weren't here in the first race in the top tier. They're here now, and Glasgow are all over them at the moment. And I don't know how long Oxford can hold off Glasgow, because we know Glasgow drive like demons in sim racing. Going round the outside, looking to outbrake Oxford, not quite making it stick. Can they stick round the inside for the recovery? Yes, they can. Oxford under pressure from Glasgow. Glasgow then really looking for a way past one of the other most iconic universities in the UK. Oxford doing better than Cambridge, but Glasgow doesn't really care. They want the track position, and they're going to have it one way or another. Going down the inside on the long straight, they've got that tight right hairpin to come up and they're on the inside. That's position where you want to be. They've got to out-drag them now, and I think they've done it. I really do. I think they're going to have this. Glasgow round the inside. Not quite, though. Oxford, a magnificently defensive drive there. And oh my days, they're wheel to wheel, side by side, and they haven't quite got it yet. Glasgow desperate to get past, but Oxford defending stupendously. I can't believe I'm seeing this. Fantastic racing from both drivers.
Very close racing, very fair racing, I have to say, though. It's really on the limit, this kind of racing. This is now where cool heads will win the battle, though. Because if you start getting flustered, you'll either drive up the back of someone else or make an unforced error. From Glasgow's point of view, they want Oxford's to make that unforced error. Glasgow have got, as far as they're concerned, lost ground to make up now. And that's exactly what they've done there. They've compromised Oxford's exit coming up onto the start line there. That's one move to the right, one move to the left for Oxford. Here we go. And Glasgow back down the inside, making a lunge on the inside into turn one. This should be a done and dusted move.
Earlier. They've done that. They've made that work. They couldn't quite have they didn't have the pace the first time. They've made it stick the second time. And University of Oxford aren't going to take that line down. They're coming back as hard as they can. Not to mention in the background, as you do with these sort of things, when two drivers are busy, they forget about the third. And Obuda is in their mirrors, coming up on them now. This is the battle for 8th, as I have it here.
Cracking racing
And
from these two, and that's
brilliant.
Oxford going for a
Look at
lunge.
that!
Great
No,
pass.
they went too hard.
Yeah.
They went so hard, and they forgot to brake. The thing is, when you're going around a corner, you might want to brake. It's just a bit of common sense. And they missed it entirely, locking up and giving Glasgow that 8th position. They'll be kicking themselves, but it's been a brilliant drive, going wide there from Oxford. Obuda are going to want to take advantage of that, coming in behind them there. Some brilliant racing as Glasgow look to make up those positions. They've got 3.5 minutes to try and get to the podium. I don't think it's doable for the Glaswegians, but that said, a monumentally fantastic effort for a recovery drive from these guys, and we know they can do it. Bolton, meanwhile, who were up front as ever, still down in 18th. They haven't quite managed the same recovery that Glasgow have managed to do. I wonder why that is, because we know they're a strong team, we know they're competitive. They were back down in last position. They were back down in 20th by lap 1 after some early onset drama. But I am surprised to see them where they are.
Who spun off there? That's car 37. That is the University of... Oh, it's the University of Leicester. Hello, guys. Sorry, that's the first time we're showing some TV for them, and it's them pointing backwards. I do apologise, guys, but glad to see that you made it into the top server. Sorry to see that you spun off there for that one, but still good effort, and they got back going again. No damage on the car. Let's see if they can recover some place in the last few minutes of the race, Giles.
Yes, indeed. We've got 2.5 minutes or thereabouts left here in Dubai, the second race of the second round of Formula Student UK. Well, Formula Student Sim Racing. We're not just the UK. We've got people from Lira, Obuda, and Lasson. That's in Canada. Bonjour. And it really is brilliant to see all these teams coming together through the power of the internet with some great wheel-to-wheel racing and some less than great commentary. I can only apologise. On board right now, we are with Polytechnic of Leiria as they hunt down the University of Southampton. Lunging to the inside, through the bank corner they go, and that looks to me like a move well and truly made. Can they hold it is the question. Southampton will want to come back from that. They go through the slip and slide on the bank corner, just keeping it as close to the apex as possible. They've definitely made that stick. Brilliant drive from Lira. A fantastic overtake on Southampton made there. And now in their sights, it's Coventry. But there is a good old gap. There's a big gap between Coventry and Lira. And Southampton will not be able to let that go. They'll be like a dog with a bone. They'll want that position back as they come into that right-hander that sets them off on that first corner then.
Just double-checking the stats there, Giles. I believe that's actually Strathclyde there that they were battling against because they seem to be on the soft tyres. So I think this is actually a Strathclyde on their inevitable fallback through the field as the tyres have turned to melted chocolates now and are ready to be put in a fondue.
I sincerely apologise. I saw S and I went Southampton, but it is indeed Strathclyde. Lira on Strathclyde, making it stick up to 6th. Coventry in 5th. In 4th, it is Southampton. I do apologise. Cardiff in 3rd. in 4th, it's Trinity St David and Hull are leading the race. We're on board with Bolton, who seem to have got up and got out of bed, is the best way I can put it. We were talking about it just now. I was just saying I was really surprised that Bolton were down in 18th, having not recovered as quickly as I thought they would. Clearly someone got a message to the Bolton driver, put your foot down, because they made up a grand total of 4 positions since we were last talking about them. And they are that is a real battle then between them and Uwe for 14th. Bolton making it stick, but Uwe not willing to give it up as they come real close to the rear end of Bolton. I would not want to... Oh, a move down the inside then from Uwe. Can they make it work?
Nicely done.
Oh.
Nicely done. You've got the have got beside, but Bolton got the better line out of the corner there. They're back in front, but we're coming into some tight corners again. We're running out of time. The countdown's about to go to 0, so I don't think we're going to see polite driving anymore, Giles. It's going to be a race to the line. They'll still have 1 lap to go, but expect to see some lunges from now on.
Let's stay on board with this one. Your winners look to me to be Hull, and Trinity St David takes 2nd with Cardiff in 3rd. But right now it's the battle for 14th between Bolton and Uwe as they head towards their final lap then. Elbows out, any old iron. It's going to be close as we go racing in Dubai for the last time of the 2nd round of Formula Student Sim Racing. This is what it's all about. Wheel to wheel or pixel to pixel, as close as you can get without blowing the bank. And that's Uwe in 15th, Bolton in 14th, and you've got OUR there in University of Obiada in 16th, and they want to make a move past Uwe. They're coming up on Uwe. Uwe been too busy distracted trying to get that 14th back from Bolton. They haven't covered their rear, and Obiada's coming in there. VIT in 12th.
Very close on the last lap, but a lot of groups of cars, but I don't think there's... just as I say that, Cardiff gone to 2nd. Something's happened on the last corner. Cardiff and UWTST have come together, and that's Southampton up to 2nd. Southampton to 2nd on the line. Cardiff have recovered to 3rd. UWTST, they can't get moving. Come on, guys. Get that engine started. Come on, there's points. You still got 10 seconds? Nope, they're going down. Coventry to 4th.
I don't believe it. I thought it was a done thing. I can't believe my eyes. The simulation is brutal as UWTSD, University of Wales, Trinity St David are just sitting there yards from the line and they can't get going. They were battling with their Welsh compatriots Cardiff. Something happened, we missed it, and all of a sudden they're both sideways on the start-finish straight. Cardiff recover from it, but Trinity St David are just sat there tumbling down the positions. Heartbreak for TSD. What has happened? I will imagine they will be wanting an inquiry because there was clearly contact between them and Cardiff.
And a DNF, look at that. They haven't even... Oh, well, what a shame that was from 2nd place. And I have to apologise to the viewers online there. I was keeping an eye out for that, but the gap was what I thought was much bigger compared to other things on the timing towers there. So I made evidently a bad choice to go and focus on another one, and we've missed out on what's happened there. However, something's happened between Cardiff and UWTSD. We're going to find out probably in the post-race driver's briefing after this. However, Cardiff
I can try and find out from Cardiff. Ooh. I've got Aaron's number. I can try and find out from Cardiff.
I don't want to invite any discussions and bickering onto the YouTube channel, though that would be quite fun. Having said that, I'm sure Cardiff will be relieved that they managed to at least hold on to their 3rd. But look at that. Southampton, our previous champions. All their Christmases have turned up at once here. 2 out-of-trouble races, and they've just kept those points raking in. Meanwhile, the winner from this race, Giles, Hull, it was a demonstration drive from them, really. They didn't do much. They just took the lead at the beginning of the first lap and then just controlled the pace from there. So much so, we forgot to look at them.
They saw the seat they wanted, and they sat down, and they didn't get up again. Brilliant from Hull. So there you have it, your top 3 there on your screens as you can see it. You've got Hull in 1st, Southampton in 2nd, and what I imagine is going to be a very hotly contested 3rd for Cardiff. The driver's briefing will tell all. These are only preliminary results. Nothing is confirmed yet, and I don't think we're going to get much confirmation until there's been a big investigation into what happened in the final corner of the final lap. Because it would be the final corner of the final lap, because this is FS Sim Racing. When else would all the drama happen? And we weren't looking. We weren't looking.
Yeah.
Absolute madness.
You just could not ask for better, could you? Could not ask for better. So, Giles, we're going to be doing a new feature now. We're going to be doing some drivers' interviews. So I just need to go and get them connected onto the server. Ladies and gentlemen, online, we're going to be back in 3 minutes' time. So hold your horses. We're going to try and connect to our winners of Race 1 and Race 2. Get them online and let's find out how their races went from their point of view. Stick around, guys. We'll be back in a couple minutes' time to do the drivers' interviews.
And welcome back to the coverage
of
of the second round of Formula Student Sim Racing 2022-2023. We've been virtually going at it in Dubai, and it's been absolutely brilliant. We've had two winners for the two races in the top tier that we've had here today, and I'm looking forward to be able to catch up with the drivers who won their respective races. Some fantastic wheel-to-wheel racing in Formula 4 cars,
and I have to say I'm somewhat out of breath, if I'm honest, because it has been non-stop from start to finish, lights out to the checkered flag. It was relentless. I'm out of breath. I can't imagine how the drivers are feeling, so let's find out, shall we?
Absolutely. Bear with me just a second. We're going to bring Glasgow, our Race 1's winner, on to the chat now. Giles, Glasgow, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty fine, thank you. Yeah, I'm doing all right.
So this is Ibrahim, who won the first race for University of Glasgow Racing. What a dominant drive that was in the first race from you. How did you manage that? A 5-second lead come the end.
Well, first I was having a clean start because it's absolutely chaos usually lap ones with this in the series. So I was looking all over with my looking left, right, and looking left and right every corner to make sure I didn't have any incidents. And once two guys behind me took each other out, it was pretty smooth sailing. Just about managing the tires since we were on mediums. Cars behind were on hards. So they came back later in the race, so it was all about managing and keeping out of trouble, as usual.
Because that was key. How did you manage that? Because naturally your tyres were softer than theirs. We expected the gap to close up, but come the end, it was a good 3 to 5 seconds still. So how did you manage that gap, and how did you manage the tyres? Not to mention, under the pressure that you were under, how did you keep a cool head?
It was just about like not scrubbing the front or sliding the rear too much, because at the end you can feel that the wear balance is more rearwards, so you will lose more rear grip in the corners, and it's quite easy to spin, and avoiding all the curbs was a big thing because they were bugged. So if you had less rear grip and you went on one of the curbs, it was so easy to spin. They came back, the guy behind came back around a second or two at the end, which I was expecting, but it was just about not falling off a cliff, and we didn't, so yeah, it was
an absolutely stalwart drive, putting Glasgow Racing on the map for the Sim Racing series. Congratulations, we knew you had it in you, and you've turned it into on-track position, so a massive congratulations, Ibrahim, a fantastic drive.
Thank you very much.
Alrighty then, Giles.
Him from University of Glasgow Racing, but we had two winners here today at Formula Student Sim Racing. Driver number 2, the winner of the second race, was Azem. I mispronounced that, and I can only apologise, but Hull came in victorious, and let's catch up with the driver behind the wheel. What a race that was!
Oh yeah, it was actually, you may have looked and seen that the race was boring on my end, but the guy behind me just kept a gap between me and him for 2 seconds for mostly of the race, and then obviously because he had the mediums, I improved the gap later on in the race. But the race was actually very, very intense throughout, just keeping that gap behind the back, not doing any mistakes.
Because Azem, as you were saying, you were feeling that pressure throughout the race. What does it feel like when you've got your mirrors filled up with a car right behind you, which is probably the last thing you want to be seeing? How do you keep a cool head and not get forced into errors and mistakes? Because you did manage it with a 3-second lead come the end.
Oh yeah, there was actually a lot of factors that played into the pressure, but I had my teammate on Discord telling me the gap because I didn't have the telemetry, and it just kept on, increasing 1/10 a lap, and it was all about carrying that speed, and making sure that braking points are perfect. You don't go on the curbs, you don't spin. I went wide like 2-3 times, but kept it. Oh, did I disconnect?
No, you're still here. You're all good.
Yeah, but yeah, I managed to keep it, on the track without, losing much time. It was all about being consistent every lap and every corner, basically. Yeah.
The consistency must have been key. How much practice have you done in advance of this race?
Yeah, me and Gem, my teammate, we did a week of practice. Yeah, we were here in the sim room. We have a sim room here in the university, and we spent almost about a week just practicing, perfecting that setup, and making sure that you build that consistency, build that confidence in the car, because it's very tricky to drive, especially with this track. Uphills, downhills, braking points, turning in. So yeah.
Because on paper, I sketched it out before the race. I've got a little map here sketched in ballpoint. And on paper, in flat, it looks relatively easy, but you don't see the contours until you're actually on track. Driving uphill with the pressure behind you, how are you tackling that? Because one wrong gear change and all of a sudden you're just crawling up the incline.
The more practice you do, the better you become, because there is a lot of blind corners. You're going into a corner, you cannot even see it. You're off the camber. Almost more than half of the corners are off camber on exit. You just have to be very smooth with your steering. Be careful on your brakes. You don't want to lock up at all, or else you're going wide. And it's 25 minutes. Keep your head in and go full out. Yeah.
I was going to ask you what your strategy would be for round 3 next month, but I imagine it's just practice, practice, practice.
Yeah. We had exams this month, so we couldn't practice as much as we wanted to, but we have some free time for next race.
Marvelous. Well, Azim, it's been absolutely brilliant talking to you. A great drive. Congratulations on your win. Thank you ever so much for joining me.
Thank you for organizing it as always, and see you next race.
See you next race. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Well, there we have it then. That is your winner number 2 here at Formula Student Sim Racing 2022-2023. That is Azim from Hull, and I'm off for a well-earned cup of tea and some dinner. I'm absolutely exhausted, and I can imagine all the drivers are as well. Congratulations to everyone involved today. It's been brilliant. I don't know what about you, Monty, but I was just blown away by the quality of the racing today.
It was certainly very busy. It kept us both going throughout the whole of it. Thoroughly enjoyable to watch. Guys, well done to everyone who took part in that one. Giles, I've just been told, actually, that we've got our official results from this round provisionally published. So shall we do a quick rundown of who our overall winners for the round are?
I certainly think we should.
All right, fantastic. Let's move on to the other page then, guys. So here we are after... No, that's not the right button I wanted to do. Sorry, guys. Still getting used to this new system. So, results after... I love breaking the fourth wall. So, after a hard evening of racing and 2 races of non-stop battles between all the universities, I can confirm that it's the University of Southampton who are our overall winners after tonight's racing. Remember, it's 50 points per race on hand, so whilst they did not win either of the race, their relentless consistency, yet again, by raking in those points, have made to them the overall winners for round 2. University of Hull, congratulations, with 1 win there. That's put them second, 87 points they've got from today's round. And University of Glasgow, I'm sure they're going to be much happier with that one race win, and with that as well. I beg your pardon, second and third actually tied on 87 points, aren't they? Then we have Lyria, very entertaining to watch them throughout the evening, that's for sure. So they're fourth on 71 points, Bolton fifth on 64. I'm sure they were going to be hoping for more after this one, given they were championship leaders going into it. But calamity in both races, taken out on lap 1 in both of them. I think they'll come back fighting in the next round, don't you think, Giles?
I think they'll be coming back with a vengeance. In 6th, it's University of Salford on 61 points. The University of Wolverhampton are on 60 themselves in 7th. In 8th, it's University of Stavanger with 56, tying with University of Strathclyde there, also on 56. So therefore, technically in 9th, really, because 8th and 9th are tying, Coventry University are on, I can't do maths. It's if I'm studying engineering. They're all on 56. 8th, 9th, and 10th are all tying. So really, they're all in 8th. That means 11th is actually, what is that? 11th is actually 9th, and that is the University of Cambridge 18. They're on 55. Cardiff are there in 10th, technically, and they've got 53. That rounds out your top 10. On your screens there, the overall top 20 from this event as we have it provisionally right now.
And then making
I
up
am
the
absolutely
bottom.
exhausted.
Oh, so am I, mate. And then making up the bottom half of the field. As I say, we did have 46 universities taking part tonight, so there was a second server at the same time there. So, not commiserations at all. Well done to our other universities who were still taking part in the bottom tier server, raking in some valuable points there. Heriot Watt, York, Leicester, Manchester, Aberdeen, Portsmouth alumni, Dundee. And also Songla making their debut into the series, one of our compatriots from Thailand. So great to see both ends of the world are taking part in the series tonight. And, well, what's this doing for the actual standings in the championship? Let's have a look. After 2 rounds. Standings, who's leading the championship going out of here? Just Bolton on 164 points, so they've held on to that lead. But look at that, it's not a walk in the park now. Southampton only 2 behind on 162, Glasgow in 3rd on 160, and Wolverhampton still there in 4th on 152. Hull move up to 5th, Salford in 6th, University of Basque Country in 7th, Wales Trinity St David in 8th, Coventry in 9th, and the University of Cambridge A rounding up the top 10.
Brilliant. Let's do it again next month. I can't wait for it. I don't know about you, James, but I'm very much looking forward to it.
Absolutely. That was really fun. As always, it was a pleasure having you on board here tonight. Giles, thank you so much for your time as well. A big thank you to our sponsors, JJ Racing and Emperor Servers, for all of your help in tonight's events as well. And of course, the big IMECE team who are running in the background tirelessly to make sure that this was working. We have a team of 4 or 5 people who are working around on Discord, helping out all the drivers, making sure the servers were working as good as they could. And let's go and do it all again this time next month. Sound good?
Sounds good to me. Thank you ever so much for watching, and we'll be back. I've been Giles, he's been James. This is Formula Student Sim Racing, and we're going to go again next month. Congratulations to all the winners, congratulations to all the drivers, and we'll see you again very soon.
Take care. Bye.